programs. Welcome back to Arc Neo Reviews, and welcome to the top 20 Transformers of 2020, take two. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know or doesn't follow me on Twitter, I had been working on this video for a long time, had it really close to done, and then chain reaction of things started with a power outage. I lost everything I had shot. Like, my original files corrupted the external hard drive that I had them on. It died entirely, beyond repair. So, if I seem a little out of enthusiasm, I apologize. But yeah, this was something I had sunk like 2 weeks of work into, and I'm now starting over. So, that aside, yes, this is going to be my one and only time doing a really big list like this. Last year, despite all the chaos and insanity, was a fantastic year for me as a collector. So, I have, you hear a top 20 list, you're like, whoa, how did you have enough to fill that? It was hard for me to keep it at 20. I technically am not actually keeping it at just 20 figures. Now, there is no actual order to these figures except for number 1. Everything else technically holds the number 2 slot. Number 1 is just the only thing that truly stood out, but this was the year of getting, like, some truly legendary Transformers, and it's really hard to really categorize and say which one's better than another. And to be honest, my answer changes depending on what day you ask me. Now, really fast, before I start, only rules to this, I did not put any Masterpiece figures on this list. I got 3 this year. Count them all on the list if you want to. To me, it just seemed a little obvious putting Masterpieces on the list. I want to keep this to just the more mainline, consumer grade Transformers. So, there's that. Again, with anyone who does this style of list, this is Transformers I got during the year, not Transformers that came out during the year. And actually, the last caveat is actually the unofficial 21st figure on the list, and that is going to be Kingdom Cyclonus. Now, I know that I got this guy like only a week before the end of the year. I wanted him on the list. This thing is truly spectacular in terms of, a mainline Transformer. It's one of the best things I have ever seen Hasbro put out. This thing is on par with, some of the actual masterpieces I've messed with. So, it gets an unofficial because, technically I got him a little early. He wasn't supposed to be out until 2021, but places like GameStop and stuff released their pre-orders a little early, so I got this guy early. Technically, I got him in 2020, so he's technically on the list. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And so for number 20, I'm already being a little bit cheaty, I admit, but the 20th spot here I am giving to Energon Mirage and Sharkticon. Specifically because on their own, these are decent figures. They're both incredibly kibbly, fairly limited posability just from all the gunk hanging off of them. But as a set, something about when you put these two together as a set, they become, at least in my opinion, in my eyes, kind of spectacular. You've got the whole General and his minions thing going on that, they really ran with in Beast Machines. This was probably the best incarnation of it. So, these figures are both also very unique. Like, the way that Mirage transforms in particular, yeah, it makes him a mess with these long tailcoats, or coattails hanging off the back. But it really makes him stand out. Makes him hard to fit on a shelf, but it makes him stand out and just looks really cool. They both have firing missiles. This idiot has 4 working missiles on him. And even a nice little touch, he's got a sound effect. You know, I like a sound effect. So, simple and weird as these guys are, these two definitely had to go on the list somewhere. So, again, number 20, Mirage and Sharkticon. I'm going to hate myself if I'm remembering wrong and this wasn't called Sharkticon. It probably wasn't. But again, big retake, reshoot. I am going to let myself get things wrong in this video. So, 19th spot I'm giving to Generation 1 Flat Top. Like I've mentioned in multiple videos, small scale Transformers are what started me into like collecting as a whole. And I got a couple G1 Micromasters this year, but this guy, his whole weirdness of, the carrier that turns into a plane while he's a plane, turns into a robot that can fly the carrier plane. It's so weird and so unique that there's no way I could not put this on the list. I've got to represent, the small boys here somewhere. And of all the really cool tiny bots I've gotten this year, this is easily my favorite. I like the idea of them having a vehicle. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's fun. It's different. So I like different. I like when they shake it up and mix it up a little bit. And this guy did it, stumbling, stammering, muttering, whatever. G1 Flat Top is really, really fun, really cool, and he's my number 19. I love this guy. So, number 18 is definitely going to have to go to Generations Blur here. This is the Platinum Edition release in particular, as some of the weird colors show. But right here, you're already seeing the best part of this figure, in my opinion. And that's the fact that it's a figure of something, of a character that's meant to be a sniper. You can actually, if you mess with him enough, get him in a pose where he's actually, doing the snipey thing. That's rare, even in newer, better articulated figures. So the fact that, this, frankly, very, very kibbly mess of a Transformer is able to do it, that just makes it, special, Because he manages to do something that, by all accounts, he should not be able to do. And that just makes him that much cooler. It's already a really cool Transformer. It's actually got one of my favorite car modes that I've seen. I know that I tend to kind of downplay and dog a lot of car modes on Transformers. This guy's car mode I do genuinely love. His transformation's fun. He can actually, again, lay down and do the snipey thing. So, absolute win in my book. And for number 17, we have Universe Ultra Class Onslaught. I think it's Universe. Again, retake. But yeah, this figure, it's one of the last, lines where we had Ultra Class as a thing, and it really shows why I like Ultra Class even now, even though it's technically gone. You just got this guy who's covered in little flip out weapons and different little gimmicks. He's got lights and sound, which is always fun, even though this is a early release, which means that siren sound doesn't work the way it's supposed to. Has problems with the engine sound too, unfortunately. But sound problems aside, this figure is really big, really awesome looking. The whole riot vehicle thing with an actual SWAT shield. It's something that I'm shocked we don't see more in Transformers. To be honest, while I'm okay with the first live action movie, how much cooler would it have been if we had this guy in the movie with his shield and all that stuff instead of Barricade? Like, I know that would have been a big shift overall, especially since Barricade has gone on to retroactively become a G1 figure now in Siege and stuff. But yeah, this still would have been incredible on the screen, and if on screen or not, this thing is still a really fun, really big, imposing figure on its own. So there we go. Number 17. And for number 16 here, we have the absolute biggest of boys. Biggest figure I got this year. Cybertron Metroplex. And there's just... I already made a video on this guy in particular. Go watch that video if you want my in-depth, thoughts on him. But this thing is massive, and it is still so cool. The bigness and awesomeness of it has not worn out on me. And I've had this guy for a good chunk of the year. So for him to, still stand out from the crowd that much really shows something. I'm recording in an unusual spot, so my table's a little wobbly. I apologize. But yeah, 16, the big guy. And for number 15, we've got another one of the really big guys. We've got Cybertron Megatron. Cybertron really was just a great line in my opinion. I love the figures that came from it. It's not even, nostalgia talking, as I did not have any of these back when they were out. But something about just, this form of Megatron, this winged, spiky shoulders, devil horns, it makes him look mean. You can see, the Unicron energy coming out of him, because again, as I understand, this version of Megatron effectively just took some of Unicron's dead body and merged with it to become stronger. So that's also just really metal and really awesome. And the figure itself is fantastic. It's got, unique super light blue, almost clear light piping. The sounds are fun. The 3 modes are fun. The plane mode's kind of silly, but, it's still super fun, super cool. And this guy has very proudly lived on top of my shelves basically since the day that I got him. And, yeah, number 15, Cybertron Megatron. And for number 14, yet another big guy. I swear they're not all big guys. Okay, a lot of them are big guys. But yeah, number 14, Studio Series Grimlock. Big thanks to Zachamus Prime for this guy. I completely missed out on this figure when he was actually on the shelves. And, for as bad as even I think that Age of Extinction was a crappy, just stupid movie. And I have very, very low expectations for movies. The figure that we got of Grimlock when they released the Studio Series. I mean, just look at this thing. Look at the way the red eyes light up, the shine on the armor. It's all so cool. I really, really wish this had some of the metal paint. It would look a lot better that way. I know there's an upgrade kit for this guy. I've been holding off on making a video on him until I've basically ran out of options on trying to get the upgrade kit, because I would like him to have a normal right arm instead of, Smashy Mace Hand. But even if I have to keep him with Smashy Mace Hand, this is one of the few modern figures even that lives up to being leader class. This thing is shockingly big for a modern figure, looks gorgeous, poses great, kind of an actually interesting transformation even, and absolute win all around. I love this guy. And for 13, hopefully this is 13, we have Robots in Disguise Megatron, or if you prefer, Car Robots Gigatron. This release is the Hasbro version, so yes, this one is officially Megatron. This is a figure that I've been working on getting a video out on for a while. It's hard to do because this thing has 10 modes, if I remember right. Kind of summarize, they made the first version. I think that one only had, I want to say that one only had 6 modes. And then, he had his Galvatron upgrade, or Devil Gigatron, or Hell Gigatron, something like that in the Car Robots version. And when they remolded it, they basically just gave it some extra tabs so that they could take some fan modes and turn them into official modes, crank it up to a 10 changer. And then when the figures came over to America, they both used the updated mold. So even though this is, the Gigatron colors, the normal one, this is still the whatever the upgraded form, mold. So this one does have all the points of, tabbing and locking and stuff to do all 10 official modes and the pseudo-official 11th mode. This thing has the most modes of any figure ever. I have not learned them all yet. Someday I will, but if nothing else, this is still one of the coolest looking Megatrons just flat out ever made. And for number 12, we are finally out of the realm of the really, really big ones for a while, and we are here with Energon Shock Blast. This is a figure that I wanted for a really long time. I'd heard, kind of back and forth iffy things on him. When I finally got him, yeah, I loved him. This is still actually, in my mind, my quintessential Shockwave. I know it's got differences that, most people would not count this a true Shockwave. The eye's the wrong color. There's that insanity going on for his arm. But I absolutely love this figure. I love the fact that it's got that weird satellite mode. And I'm really, really hoping that at some point in the Generations line, they'll do an updated version of this. Because even as much as I do like, sounds and silliness, it would be nice if he had an elbow on his right arm. Or, pardon me, left arm. So, there's that, but still, fantastic design, really fun figure, posability ahead of its time. Yeah, again, love this thing, number 12. And for number 11 here, we're coming in with the single ugliest figure on the list. We have Studio Series Bone Crusher. And I do have to give a big thanks to my buddy Robbie for helping me get a hold of this guy. It's another one that I missed out on. I didn't even know this thing came out, actually, until it was too late. Such a cool figure. I love Bone Crusher's design. He was easily my favorite, not Megatron, not Starscream Decepticon from the first movie. A lot of qualifiers, I know, but, those are like my top two characters. So, of course, it takes a lot to, make it on my list of some things I like without being Starscream or Megatron. And this figure did it. Mine's being a little loose in a few places. To be honest, that's probably even just due to how cold it is in here right now. A lot of the metal is probably contracting and the pins aren't holding as tightly as they should. Yes, I do tend to keep things cold enough to where that will actually be a thing that's affected. But still, this thing, such a weird design. So hard to actually, move it into the realm of plastic. And especially at, a Voyager size class, this really is, I see no way they could have done this thing any better. It looks great. Number 11, I'm really, really having a hard time remembering numbers here, but yes, Studio Series Bone Crusher. And for the 10th spot, I'm going to once again do multiple figures. This time it's just because different figures of the same character. It's my boy. It's Starscream. I stood this guy up wrong. I don't care. Yeah, these two figures, both in their own ways, their own rights, fantastic figures. You've got this fantastic, wonderful version of G1 Starscream. Looks great. Really good update of the Universe Classics Deluxe class mold. I love the Starscream upscales they've been making. Has made some of my favorite figures in recent years. Obviously, my favorite figure last year, or technically of 2019 that I got, was the upscaled Voyager Studio Series Starscream. This one is amazing, and like the masterpiece that wasn't quite a masterpiece, but technically was. This, I don't really know what else I can say about this guy. This thing got a long video already. It's massive. It's fun. It looks great. It talks. Just such a cool figure. Yes, I still technically like the Masterpiece movie one better, but that doesn't mean I don't still absolutely adore this guy. And to be honest, this is the one that I'm actually more prone to messing around with and having some fun. The Masterpiece one is cool. I'm scared of it. It is a masterpiece. They can be a little fragile here and there. This thing is built to last. This thing is tough. It's awesome. It's covered in ratchets. I love the heck out of it. So, number 10, 2 Starscreams. And for number 9, we have the most adorable destroyer and eater of worlds. It is Cybertron Deluxe Class Unicron. Now, again, I haven't gone through and watched all those shows, and I don't know if this even was in the show, but as I understand, this is basically Unicron trying to regenerate after being destroyed in the last series. He's got this really crazy little tank mode that, if you notice, looks like just the very top part of a planet trying to reform. He's got this skeletal looking face, if I can get it to focus, which is intense. I love the way that looks. I don't think they'd be willing to do that kind of thing nowadays, even though they should, because it's awesome. And there's something very novel about having a figure, in deluxe class and it being Unicron. There's I don't really know how else to say it. There's something funny about having the Planet Man being a deluxe class. So, if no other reason, that alone, number 9, deluxe class Unicron. And for number 8, it could not be, this guy had to be on the list somewhere. This is Car Robot's Black Convoy. Yes, truly Black Convoy, not Scourge, whatever, Nemesis Prime. This is an actual Japanese import. I still have the box to prove it. Black Convoy. And my word, this figure is so lush. I know it's just, a repaint and de-electronicked version of the G2 Laser Rod Optimus. But this thing, even without the gimmicks, this is such a good figure. I love this thing. Need I remind you guys, the giant, insane chrome fingerprint magnet trailer that has, a million weapons in it. This thing is spectacular. Again, thank you, Jorge. You're the one who helped me get. He's the one who helped me get this. He is awesome, and this figure is awesome. And for number 7, we have Earthrise Netflix Soundwave. Not going to go into too much detail here. I just did a video on this guy not long ago. Go check that out if you want more thoughts. But great little figure. Hopefully he's getting easier to find now. Looks like he's getting easier to find. But yeah, if you can't get the Masterpiece Soundwave, this is actually probably your best bet if you want a G1 style, cassette recorder Soundwave. Great figure. And coming in at number 6, we have Transformers Prime Wheeljack. Again, this guy had a video not terribly long ago, so probably go watch that if you want in-depth thoughts. Big thanks again to Mike Dye for helping me get a hold of this guy. This figure is so many ways ahead of its time, and it really stands out in being unique. Just the way it transforms, the look it has, the presence it has. This thing is so awesome. Also, I think I did forget to show this in the video I did on him, but yes, you can put the swords on his back like that, same way he did in the show. Makes him that much cooler. So, number 6, Jackie Boy. And at number 5, we have Studio Series Blitzwing. This thing is easily my favorite jet transformer that is not Starscream. Funny enough, they are heavily retooling this to make a Studio Series Starscream from Bumblebee movie. So that's going to be funny. though it does even more so confirm that, yes, Blitzwing is a Seeker. But seriously, I love, the gas mask going on with his face, the way that you actually, more or less transform his arms, aka cover up the hands or pop the hand off. But, the fact that he ends up with weapon arms, not holding weapons. This thing is so dynamic. It's so awesome. By the way, yes, I do finally have a Jeep Bumblebee for him to strangle. That will be coming up in a later video. But for now, number 5, the awesomeness that is Studio Series Blitzwing. And for number 4, we have Netflix Megatron. Not a lot for me to go over. Just look at this thing. I know they released a lot of versions of the Siege Megatron. Technically, they're still releasing the Siege Megatron as the Earthrise was, like a heavy retool of this mode. Of all of them, this one is my favorite. Just the shiny, metallic, plastic used all throughout. The airbrushing. This one really is just, of all versions of this Megatron, this one is far and above my favorite. And yeah, I had to give him the spot. Had to put him on this list. Such a cool figure. Definitely worth picking up if you're able to still track him down. And at number 3, we have the Earthrise Optimus Prime. Seen here holding some of the weapons from the Studio Series upgrade kit, actually. But, yeah, if you want a G1 Prime, this is just the figure to get. It's this or go Masterpiece. There's arguments to be made, some people, I'm sure, like other versions of Megatron, other versions of Soundwave, any other figure that you're gonna get, a G1 style figure of. I don't know any way that this is not just the best non-Masterpiece Optimus figure ever made. It's dynamic, it looks awesome, it looks even cooler if you go get these upgrade weapons and hook him up with those. Just so much win, so much awesomeness. The trailer is great too, even though I'm not bothering to put it in camera. Again, this guy has his own full video. I know not every figure I've looked at has a video, at least yet. But this guy's got a video. He's super awesome. And they're re-releasing him for the Kingdom line. So if you missed out on him, they're literally just putting it back out. I guess the windows are ever so slightly a different color. But other than that, same figure. So if you missed out on him, you got another chance. Anyway, number 3. I hope this was Earthrise Optimus. And coming in at number 2, we have Alternator Shock Blast. Now, I know I haven't transformed him, again, with, like, the reshoot nature of this video. I've already been sitting here for 3 hours getting figures put back into their robot modes for this video. Because, yes, I do keep them in vehicle mode for storage. This guy, though, this one I actually display in the car mode. This Mazda mode is done so well. It looks so great. Transformation is complex, but I wouldn't call it hard or bad. This thing is... You can really see how the Alternator figures were more or less the proto-masterpieces. If it wasn't for the whole, they must turn into licensed modern-day cars, this basically would be masterpiece quality. So, wonderful robot, wonderful car even. Number 2, Alternator Shock Blast. And I'm sure this comes as a surprise to no one who remembers that I have him, but the number 1 spot is Omega Prime. I know technically we're looking at 2 figures here, but they combine. I got them on the same day, and I have stuck them together, and unless they're in storage, in which case, vehicle mode, like I've said, this is how I keep them. They are so awesome, so incredible. I could gush for ages. This guy in particular, I will put a link to his video down in the description. I swear, yes, this is video here, but I had to put him so far back that I can't actually reach him right now. So that's why I'm not doing anything with him. But just the engineering on this guy was so cool. The way that they worked around, limitations to get his, get this mode head to flash, even though, there's just so much going on here. The way that it knows how to make the different sounds from the one button, it's all just so incredible. I cannot recommend this guy enough. This thing was easily my highlight of collecting in 2020. This guy single-handedly made the year not suck as much. Because anytime I was depressed, this thing, if I can find the button here, he'd just blow all those bad feelings away with Omega Fire, and suddenly I was happy again. So, my stupid ending here aside, yes, this thing, absolutely incredible. I am so excited to own this thing. I'm excited to own all these figures, though, to be honest. Again, there's a reason that there was no real order. This year was actually so insane for me in collecting. Other than keeping up on my Starscream collection, I don't know if I'm going to be getting that much this year, to be honest. So, yeah, I can't even promise I'll do a top 10 next year for, the top figures of 2021. But that aside, don't worry. I have many Transformers still. I have plenty of videos to keep going on. Clearly, I've also been dipping my toes into the darkness of blind bags and other things. Hopefully, sometime this century we'll be able to have tabletop roleplay games actually on tabletops again instead of computers. So I'll be able to have some more, D&D stories. I'm learning to play Call of Cthulhu and Traveler. I'm getting into Fate more. So, there's going to be a lot of other stuff going on. And yes, I will still have plenty of Transformers content. While this channel was not meant as a Transformers channel, I do understand that that's what a lot of people are here for, because that is kind of what I ended up becoming 75% of the time. But anyway, hopefully this video was worth the million-year wait and having to make it twice. Hope you guys are having at least a somewhat decent start to the year. I know it's been a bumpy start. Things have been weird. Life is weird. Hopefully things will improve. Go out and make them improve somehow. I don't know. Insert random inspirational YouTuber message here. As always, thank you guys endlessly for watching. Likes and subscriptions obviously are very much appreciated as well. I know I'm a horrible YouTuber. I don't push for that stuff every 5 seconds. The fact that I am sitting at 412 subscribers as of recording, that already blows me away. I don't really feel the place to sit here and, smash the like button and hit subscribe and subscribe your mom's computer in too. And no, you guys have already been incredible. Thank you so much. And as always, I will see you next time.